Today we will see Leetcode problem 560 subarray sum equals k. Okay, this is an medium level problem. We will discuss here two approaches. First approach is brute force approach and second approach is optimal approach. So let's get started. So let's understand the problem. Problem is of medium level. So here given an array of integers nums and an integer k, return a total number of subarrays. Okay, subarrays whose sum equals to k. A subarray is a contiguous non-empty sequence of elements within an array. Okay, so here it is given that nums array which includes 1 comma 1 comma 1 and k is 2. Okay, we have to find that contiguous empty non-empty sequence of elements means called as subarray. Okay, we have to find how many subarrays can be created from this array. Okay, so here k is 2. Okay, so sum should be of 2. Okay, this is one subarray and this is one subarray. Okay, so output is 2. Okay, now here k is 3, so here is 2 1 comma 2 is one array subarray and only 3 is one subarray, so output is also 2. Okay, so once again let's understand the problem on paper pen and also understand the approach. Okay, so let's go there. Let's understand the problem. Here nums is given an array and k is given sum. Okay, we have to find subarrays from this array which sums equal to 2. Okay, so subarray means a contiguous non-empty sequence of elements. Okay, so here are two subarrays in this array which sums up 2. Okay, so this is 1 and this is 1, so output is 2. Okay, so I will not explain you the brute force approach because its time complexity is big O of n cube. Okay, and the better approach is of big O of n square. Okay, so in short I will explain the brute force approach. That first we have to traverse this, compare this with all elements, and at the second for loop we have to compare this with all elements. This is small array, so here there is no any issue to use brute force approach, but when the array length is of 50 or 60, then it will give the very time will be taken more. Okay, so this is not an optimal approach, so you don't use this and don't learn also this because this is very not useful approach. Okay, so in better approach we will use two for loop. Okay, so this is also not so much used approach. The used approach is very much means optimal approach. We will use here prefix sum. Okay, prefix sum approach. Okay, this is a very important approach and important topic from the hash maps and from the subarrays. Okay, from these concepts many big tech companies ask the questions. Okay, all subarray problems are dependent on prefix sum. Okay, so please see this full video which you will understand what is prefix sum and how to solve the subarray sums. Okay, prefix sum will be used in many subarray problems further also. Okay, so let's see the optimal approach. This is given an array. Okay, so we will take this sum up. Okay, sum up these two elements. Okay, we will make here consecutive sum equal to 0 and we will take one variable result. Okay, means how many arrays are there. Okay, first starting at 0. Okay, and n is a length of array. Okay, nums dot length. Okay, okay, then we will create one hash map. Okay, in the hash map we will store the sum. Okay, so we will first put the 0. Okay, because consecutive sum is 0 now starting, so we will put in hash map first 0. Okay, so here 0 it will occur at one time. Okay, so now we will add the consecutive sum plus this element. Okay, one element. Okay, so if we add this and it will become 1. Okay, so we will check here one contains in the hash map. No, there is no contains in 1. Okay, so we will simply again put 1 into this hash map. Okay, this occurred one time. Okay, so now we will comes up and consecutive is now 1, so now we will take we will add the second element from the array. Okay, now it becomes 2. Okay, 2. Sorry, I forgotten to explain this step. Okay, consecutive sum minus k, we have to take consecutive sum minus k. K is here 2, this is minus 1. Minus 1 is not in hash map. Okay, now our consecutive term is 2. Okay, now we will implement consecutive sum minus k. Okay, 2 minus 2 which is 0, which is in the hash map. Okay, then it is in hash map, so we will increment result. Okay, now result is become 1. Okay, Now at the third element we will add one more one at the consecutive sum at third element. Here is 1, so we will add here 1. Okay, now 3. Now here 3 minus k, which is equal to 2. Okay, this is equal to 1. Okay, this is also in the hash map. Okay, so it will again increment result, and result becomes 2 and output is 2. Okay, so I will explain again with a dry run. Okay, first I will write down the code on paper and I will explain very smoothly and neatly. Okay, so let's understand the code and dry run the code. Okay, so n is the length of array and consecutive sum starting at 0. Okay, and result is equal to 0. Okay, we have created here hash map. Okay, so now in the hash map we will put first 0 and 1. 0. Okay, 0, how many times occur 0 in a hash map? One time, so we return here 1. Okay, now we will implement for loop, simple for loop. Okay, now consecutive sum, I have taken this example. Okay, now at starting consecutive sum equal to consecutive sum plus consecutive sum is 0, so 0 plus nums of I means here 1, which is equal to 1. Okay, now we will check here if the map contains consecutive sum minus k, means here 1 minus k is here 3, which is equal to minus 2. Does it is in the hash map? Okay, so it is not in hash map, so it will not run the if part. Okay, so it will be put on into a map. Okay, so in the map we have to put the consecutive sum. Okay, consecutive sum is 1. Okay, now we have to put the consecutive sum, not the difference between the consecutive sum and the sum k given. Okay, so now how many times it occurs only one time. Okay, consecutive sum occurs only one time. This occurs one time. Okay, one occurs one time. Okay, so now we will again for loop, I will be incremented to here. Okay, now I is here. Okay, now I is here. Now consecutive sum plus means now consecutive plus 1, here is 2, no, sorry, here 2, then it will become 3. Okay, consecutive minus 3. Okay, 3 minus 3, which is equal to 0. Now 0 is here it will take contains the sum minus k 0. Okay, it is in the hash map here. Okay, so it will be simply increment the result by getting this number we have to add this. Okay, now our result is at starting our result is 0, and we add here for this element how many times it occurred, it is in the hash map. Okay, it occurs only one time, so we have to add only 1. Okay, so now result is our 1. Okay, now again I will be in the map we will put consecutive sum is 3. Okay, 3 occurs only one time. Okay, so now again we will for loop implement. Okay, I will come here. Okay, now consecutive term plus nums of I, here nums of I is 3. Okay, so 3 plus 3, which is equal to 6. Okay, now consecutive sum minus k, 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3. Now 3 is in the hash map. Yes, here 3 is in the hash map. So now we will add into result plus result means 1, plus we will add this number. Okay, not 3, we will add this get or default means how many times it occurred it will get. Okay, sorry, here. Okay, get, we added here get means we will get how many times it occurred. Okay, so here 1. Okay, 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2, and we have to simply put this also 6 is 6 in hash map one time. Okay, now for loop is executed and array out of bound has gone, so we have to display our result. Okay, return our result. Now result is our 2 and output is also 2. Okay, so let's see the perfect code on the Leetcode code editor. Okay, let's see the code of this problem. Okay, so first we have to take the n means length of array into n. Okay, and then we have to take I for loop. Okay, and then we have to take contiguous sum. Okay, contiguous sum equal to 0 and result is equal to 0. Okay, and then we have to create one hash map of integer comma integer. Okay, I will give name map. Okay, now let's put first 0. Okay, 0 into our hash map, put 0 comma 1, because initially our consecutive sum is 0. Okay, so we have to put 0 first in our map. Okay, so now let's run the for loop. For I equal to 0, I should be less than n, and I increment. Okay, now into consecutive sum we will add consecutive sum with the nums of array. Okay, nums of I. Okay, means first element will be added to consecutive sum. Okay, now we will check here condition if map dot contains key. contains key. Consecutive sum minus k means given value, okay. 1 minus 2 which is minus 1, okay. 1 minus 2 which is minus 1, minus 1 is not present in the map, okay. So we will check like this here, okay. In for if contains, that element contains in our hash map, okay. So we will add the in result, okay. So I will write the code result equal to map dot get conti contiguous sum minus k, okay. We have to add that means how many times it occurs, one time, two time, that we have to add into result, okay. Then we have to put it into map, okay. Map contiguous sum we have to put, and we have to put how many times it occurred, okay. So get or default contiguous sum comma 0 plus 1, okay. We have to add 1, okay. If same number repeats, then we have to store it in hash map, and we have to increment how many times it appeared in map, okay. So simply we will return here result, okay. So let's run the code. This was our day 10 of 100 days of code challenge of DSA, okay. We are solving new problems and new problems on new topics daily. This is our day 10. Consecutively we are solving problems daily, okay. So you can see here our code is compiled successfully. Now we will submit it. So if you want the DSA roadmap and how to prepare for DSA, then you can get the roadmap into description. It is in description link, okay, and playlist link is also in description. If you want C++ code also, then both code, Java code and C++ code, both code are uploaded on my GitHub account, okay. From there you can check it. That link is given in description, okay. So you can see here our code is successfully submitted and 75.14% bits are achieved here, okay. So thank you guys for watching my video. If you liked my teaching, and if you liked my approach, so you can subscribe, okay. So thank you guys.